Hometown Murder Tour is a true crime podcast for entertainment purposes only, assuming you find us entertaining.
That being said, stories of violence, sexual assault, and other criminal acts will be discussed, using adult language. Consider this your warning.
Hi.
Hi.
How you doing?
I'm just peachy. How are you?
We're
Back on the road.
back on the road. We're doing this. We got another
Yeah,
Hometown Murder Tour coming up for you.
that's right.
Last week you had a WTAF, so we try to do that, alternate. I'm Amy,
I'm Sarah.
and
This is Hometown Murder Tour.
yeah,
I said it.
you said it,
I did.
and you did it. I think you're good at it now.
I practiced that night in the mirror.
In the mirror.
So we just picked up beverages.
Yes, we did.
Went to a new place today. Tried out Springtown Coffee. It is in right across from Sequoia Park.
Yes.
And I got the orange dreamsicle. It's like a nitro cold brew.
Yes.
It's very smooth. Don't really taste the orange, so
Yeah.
maybe I haven't had enough of it.
Maybe it's all.
It's not stirred up or something. I don't know. But I'm sure I'll be high on caffeine in just moments.
Yeah.
What'd you get?
I got a berry blend smoothie.
So healthy.
I know. I feel like we're just going to go ahead and put this out there, okay?
Mhm.
So you get all the cool drinks and the good drinks, and I'm like ordering green tea and smoothies, and I know that there's people out there that are like, what the fuck? Like, is she just really healthy, or is she really boring? And just to let you
she's
know,
really
I'm
boring.
really boring. No, I'm super knocked up.
I know!
And
You got pregnant!
I got me a bun in the oven,
Yep.
so I'm being healthy.
Good for you.
Otherwise, I'd be all about that cold brew shit and
Yeah.
the espresso shit and the beer and all the things.
All the good things
So if
that-
you're wondering why Amy is so fucking boring, it's because she's a dirty
Thank
whore
God
and is
the
pregnant.
cat's out of the bag about the bun in the oven. See
Right?
what I did there? Cat out of the bag, bun in the oven. Because I'm not good at secrets.
Right.
And I probably
You
would
were
have
gonna
outed
say
you.
it at
I
one
was,
point,
I
and we
was.
don't know how to edit.
No.
So we just would have had to publish it and tell the world.
Yeah, sorry, all the family that doesn't know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, of course, they would have to listen to the podcast to find out.
True.
Hey, ploy. Hey, I
If you
have
guys-
big news.
You're gonna
Listen
have
to the
to
podcast.
subscribe on iTunes, Google Play, or Podbean.
Podbean.
Yeah.
Yep. So anyway, well, congratulations.
Well, thanks.
excited for
Thanks
you.
so much.
Yeah. I am not knocked up.
That you know of.
I'm having triplets, according to my meatloaf
Your
baby.
your food baby.
Mhm.
She's having food triplets.
Yes. All right, let's get down to business.
Let's do this.
Okay.
I think let's start with a review
Okay.
because we kind of are doing that, or do we want to end with a review?
Let's do it all up at the top.
Let's just do
as
it.
they say in the biz.
Take it from the top.
Mm-hmm.
So this is an iTunes review
Okay.
from, it looks like 411 Chatter. Is who sent this. So
Hello, 411 Chatter.
Hey, 411 Chatter. 5 stars. Thank you for that. Yeah. And it says, I am, reading and driving.
I know, it's not
I
gonna be good.
cannot handle it.
Okay,
All right.
sorry.
No, I mean, it's what our whole podcast is. So
It
I
is.
feel like we should have thought of that before.
We really should have.
Yeah. Okay. 411 Chatter says, this podcast keeps getting better and better. I have not heard of half of these cases, and Amy and Sarah bring laugh out loud reviews while always paying respect to the victims. I am still a little queasy from the details of the Comstock case, but still laugh at the helicopter menace. Hilarious. Keep the caffeine flowing and keep these episodes coming.
Thank you so
So,
much.
that was
411
awesome.
Chatter.
Thank you. Sorry that the Comstock I'm assuming the tick
The
situation
the
on
crunchy
that.
ticks.
Crunchy ticks
Mhm.
is still kind of lingering with you on that. But we appreciate your review.
Yes.
It was awesome.
We appreciate
Thank
it.
you so much.
And if you too want to get a shout out, please rate, review us. We'll read it.
Yeah, we will.
So do it.
Do it.
Okay.
All right.
Next on the list.
Next on our list, we have a correction
Yes.
that we have to do because we're professionals.
We are
here.
professionals, and we can admit when we fuck up. And
Yeah.
this fuck up is brought to you by my mother. Thank you, Mom, for pointing it out.
Yep.
So in my family, we have a thing. It started a few years ago. I can't remember exactly why, but it just became a thing. Hashtag Nana knows. So she likes to give advice or those kind of things.
Warranted
so everyone,
or otherwise.
correct. So it's just become a thing in our family that we always like hashtag Nana knows. So I think that's what we're going to call this segment.
Yeah, because this is our first, I guess, call out.
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure there's lots of corrections.
Yeah, we probably get most of our information wrong, but this is the first time someone's called us out on it, and it happens to be Sarah's mother.
Her mom, she goes by
and
Nana.
Hashtag Nana knows. So we're going to call our corrections corner,
Nana knows.
or whatever you want to call it, Nana knows. So
Yeah.
today's Nana knows segment has to deal with our last hometown murder, which was the, oh my gosh, the double homicide,
Really?
Terrell.
Terrell.
There we go.
Sorry.
Case. The collector. There was the
Yes. Big collector.
Dateline episode. The whole thing.
Yep.
We had stated. I think we were talking about Dee Wampler, famous defense attorney here in Springfield,
Yep.
with his televangelist hair.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I made the comment that he was
Defending
the defense attorney
Craig
for
Allen
Craig Wood, which those of you in the Springfield area know that was the Haley.
We will talk about
We will
it.
talk about that. It's a huge case, Haley Owens murder,
Not sure I can
kidnapping and
do it.
murder. But I mentioned that he was Craig Wood's defense attorney, and
Incorrect.
incorrect.
Nana knows pointed out that it was actually Craig Wood's parents that he was their defense attorney.
Yes. So my bad. I knew
Yeah.
he was involved in that
Yeah.
somehow. It just was not. I was wrong
Way to
on
go,
who
Amy.
he defended. So, thanks, Nana,
Thanks, Nana.
for letting us know.
Yep.
So
All right.
there we go. I think we're
Is that
good.
all our housekeeping?
That's all our housekeeping for now.
Okay. I feel like we're forgetting something, but
I think. I mean, we did our little. I think we're good.
okay. Well, while we're talking here, I am driving around the area in which our next case took place.
Yeah, and today this is kind of a different one. This is actually not a murder.
It's not, but it's
it's
pretty
crime.
famous.
Pretty famous.
around the area, especially if you grew up here. This occurred in the mid to late 80s, and this I remember so specifically because it was like slumber party lure.
Oh yeah,
And I don't mean like fishing lure. I mean like
lure. Yeah,
lure.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it right. Lure.
Lure.
L-O-R-E.
Yes. You would
So-
lure slumber parties, like people to your slumber party with
Yes.
the lure
Yes.
of this. Yeah.
Correct.
That's what I did there.
I see that. So, this is the case of Ether Eddie.
Yes.
So, get ready,
dun
people.
dun dun.
So, am I going to park up here? You want to park up here?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay. So, like I said, I don't know if I mentioned the neighborhood. We are
didn't.
in the Southern Hills neighborhood.
Yes.
Which I grew up in the Brentwood neighborhood, where Southern Hills and Brentwood are next to each other. So it was very in our radar. Now, I did not know any of this information, like the real information.
Right.
All I knew was
Just the
at
myth
slumber
around
parties
it. Yeah.
hey, watch out for Ether Eddie. He's going to come get you. All of this stuff.
Yes. And now, yeah. So, this neighborhood, FYI, is south of Sunshine, east of Glenstone, and north of Battlefield.
And we're going to actually park in the Pershing parking lot, Pershing Middle School.
Yes.
Back then it was Pershing Junior High and Elementary.
Yes.
That is where I went. And because one of the events that happened was actually the house across the street from Pershing. So that's where we're going to park to.
So Pershing's kind of smack dab in the middle of all this.
Yeah.
If you will.
If you will. So I'm just turning around here.
Any info on the neighborhood? Anything else? About the
well,
homes
what's
or
really
the...
cool is, and I should have found that because I actually just remembered it, but my friend at work moved into the Southern Hills area. I love that house.
I know.
It's like I coveted.
Awesome.
Yes.
A lot of these homes.
Yeah. So they're very mid-century. This whole neighborhood was developed in the 50s, and we found an old like advertisement for this area, like the developers' plans for it, and like the vision and everything is very cool. I even scanned it and put it somewhere for her so she could have it because her house was on it.
Just big ranches, ranch style
mid-century
homes.
modern. Some of them have the what do you call that?
Split level.
Houses, very popular in the 60s.
Yes.
So it's a gorgeous neighborhood. It's right in the middle of town. It's convenient. It's very coveted as far as like if a house goes up for sale.
Oh yeah, it doesn't
whether
last
it's in
long.
good shape or not, it sells quick, and then either people remodel it or whatever. But it's a really nice area to live in. A lot of when I grew up here, you know, you had your divisions between Glendale, one of the high schools, and Kickapoo. So they were the big rivals.
Boo.
So Glendale is what people called old money.
Oh.
And Kickapoo was new money.
New money.
So what I mean by that
See,
is
and
like,
I kind of miss out on all that. I moved here later,
Yeah.
like to go to college. So
Right.
like this is kind of fun for me to hear even just like all these little stories.
the
So
backstories.
continue.
Well, just that, so Southern Hills butts up behind, they all go to Glendale. And like John Q. Hammonds used to have a big house on one of the Southern Hills lakes. There's a couple of man-made lakes. By lakes, I mean, they're kind of ponds, but they're called lakes. But there's gorgeous homes. The biggest, most expensive ones are around the lakes.
Okay.
And so John Q. Hammonds at one point lived over here.
Nice.
I don't know, when he passed, if he still owned that house up here. I don't know that information. But anyway, so that's kind of the neighborhood. So let's just
We're
get
going to
our
jump into
paperwork.
this.
Yeah,
Let's get our
Okay.
paperwork. I feel like actually, let's pause. Let's put a pin in this.
Okay.
Be a good time for an advertisement.
Sure.
So you don't have to hear all of the paper shuffling
No.
all at once. And we'll be right back.
Hi, Amy.
Hey, Sarah.
Do you ever feel like you've got to have some hand-cut leather jewelry?
Hell yeah, I do.
I thought so. Well, boy, do I have something for you.
What's that?
Serendipity Designs.
For real?
For real.
What's it called?
Serendipity Designs.
Okay.
She's got a website. She's on Facebook. She's on the Instagram. You need to check her out. And I think you even get like 10% off if you use the code MURDER
Hell yeah.
at checkout. So go to serendipitydesigns.com and use the code MURDER for 10% off.
How do you spell serendipitydesigns.com?
SARAHNDIPITY designs.com.
I'm there now.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
And we're back. All right, here we go. We are jumping into the case of Ether Eddy. So, as we said, it's set in the Southern Hills neighborhood, and this takes place
1987.
87. June is the first
Case
event.
of this, yes.
Yeah. So here's what happens basically.
Yep.
A
man
breaks into homes and uses some sort of fluid, either ether
formaldehyde. So
or
they mentioned like
formaldehyde.
formaldehyde or like chloroform, something.
to knock out women, and then that's about it.
That's about it.
I mean,
and then just like literally like not robbing anything.
no sexual assault.
Just like knocks them out.
Yep.
Or tries to knock them out.
Right.
I think
it was only successful twice.
Right.
2 women were actually knocked completely out. The rest, it was just attempted, and then
he ran off. And that's it.
And so the first attack was June 26, 1987.
Yep.
So just to set the scene, I was 12.
Yep.
It was summer, so I was probably up at Green Meadows Pool.
Just like slumber partying it up,
Yeah.
swimming, all in it.
Yep. And then this happens.
Yeah.
So, but what's funny is, so I got real into this research, people. Like, this was legit research because there is nothing on Google.
Nothing.
So I actually had to get a 7-day free trial of the newspaper.com.
Yeah, it's through like ancestry.com.
Yes.
Like has this newspaper.
So there's it's like the new version of microfiche. I was real worried I was going to have to go to the library, public library, and do that. But
which I kind of want us to do that someday, just so we can look legit as hell.
Yeah.
Just like up in there, like microfiching some murder cases. And
I
people
did.
are like, "What's going on?" And we're like, "Oh,
we're
it's just
researching.
hometown
We're
murder
investigating.
tour."
Yeah. Don't you know?
Yep.
Hello. So anyway, I did feel kind of impressed with myself with my research.
Yeah, this is amazing.
So it really doesn't appear in the newspapers until December 1987.
6 months later.
6 months of all these events happening. And how many were there?
It says, I believe it was within 6 months there were 10 cases.
10. Okay, so
in that area,
right?
And then they say that there were a couple other
that
cases
were farther north
that were a little outside of this neighborhood that they were assuming was connected.
And the victims. Here's for those of you that like to learn about victimology. You know that he had no victimology. This person. It was like they ranged from 8 to 56.
Yes.
Now what the fuck?
That was my whole when it says he is. I mean, attacking.
Yeah.
Essentially, he's like on top of these people trying to knock them out. Like that's an assault one way or another.
Yeah.
All women. So he is discriminating at least.
Yeah.
Or all
and
female, I guess.
They weren't alone.
No, yeah, and that's the thing too, is some of them were alone in their homes, but a lot of them weren't. It was like the teenager was sleeping in the one room while her family was there. Yeah. And he went there. Or, I don't know, like husbands, boyfriends, whatever, but a lot of them were not.
Parents?
It wasn't just like.
Because there was a 12-year-old girl, too, that it happened to. And her mom walked in.
Yes, well, that's later.
Yeah.
We'll get, that was a good one.
Sorry, I got excited.
That was a good one. But the 8-year-old, that's second grade. Like,
why?
What the hell? You're just like, can you, like
figure life out?
Just straddling over a little 8-year-old trying to knock that shit out? Like,
but then,
what the hell?
I don't get it for no reason. So that's what kind of stumped the investigators, is that there was no apparent motive or
reasoning. And they said, like, the two main detectives on here, one was a 17-year veteran, one was a 10-year veteran, and they both were just like, this is one of the craziest things I've ever had to deal with. Yeah. They just, like, were stumped.
And it was terrifying the public, because what's worse than, the unknown. Like, this guy is doing it for no reason. Yep. He's clearly getting his kicks in some way. Mm-hmm. And what I always think of is, you think back to, like, the Golden State Killer, right? Yep. He started out as the Vandalia ransacker, and then he was the East Area rapist, and then it escalated to
and that's what
murder.
I thought. And I made some notes later when there's like an editorial that kind of hints at this could end badly. Yeah. And that was just my thing of just like, at what point is this not going to be enough?
Right.
I
know.
Yeah. Super creepy. So.
Because I'm thinking, well, we'll get to it.
Yep. Okay. So, we're moving from, like, article to article. Yeah. So, you will hear paper shuffling.
Sorry for that.
We
sorry. Sorry.
Yep.
Me talk good.
Me words know about things.
Okay, so then, that article, the first article that appears is December 24th, 1987. So, then you don't hear anything else.
Nope.
Until August 14, 1988. So like 9 months later. Yeah. And
they are like, oh, there's another reappearance of Ether Eddie. He took, this article says he was on a 3.5 month absence.
So maybe something was not reported.
But that means that there were some others in between the December to August.
Yep. So once again, here he is. Resurfacing.
This is the one where the mother
Yes.
was home.
Yeah. So on August 7th,
1988.
the mother of a 17-year-old awoke and walked into her daughter's bedroom to find the man bending over her daughter. And the woman threw the man off her daughter's bed and he fled.
Holy shit. Can you imagine?
No.
Just like walking. And also, was she awake? Did something wake her up? Like, was it just luck
Well, it
that
did-
she happened to, like, I mean, it didn't say that,
Mother's intuition.
right? A
mean,
mother
you know.
knows. I do know. I already have a kid, and I got a bun in the oven, and
So
yeah,
you know.
just like never sleep well again. So
Right,
she probably
that's
was just like
basically it.
awake
Yeah. She heard
and
something.
heard
A door.
a door or something, and then walked in there. But can you imagine? Like, she just like shoves this guy
Yeah.
off of her daughter, and then he takes off.
Yeah.
Holy
Terrifying.
shit!
Yeah.
Yeah.
So things are escalating because now, I mean, this guy, first of all, does not sound real smart.
Right, but also he's getting away with it at this
Well,
point. Like, it's
it is
been
the
not that
80s.
he's smart. Yeah, true. So maybe that's not his smarts. It's just
Luck?
luck, I guess.
I don't know.
There were the same article talks about how it kind of interviewed some other neighbors in the area, talking about they were trying to take precautions. They were putting extra locks on their doors. This one lady says her husband, they were placing like bars in the windows, you know, so you couldn't open the windows up. An iron guard on the garage window. So people were like freaking out and like locking their homes and figuring out there's neighborhood watch
Meetings.
Which
again makes me think of the Golden State Killer. Did you ever see that picture
where
of
he's in the photo. Holy shit.
Yeah.
Makes you wonder, did this guy show up?
Yeah.
He lived, I mean, he was in...
He was 2 blocks away from one of the the victims.
Yep.
So, in this article, the one in August of 88, they included a map of where all the...
We'll post it.
Yes, we will definitely put a picture of that up so you can see where all the break-ins happened. So we did drive through the area before we parked here and kind of looked at some of these break-in areas. And I mean, it's crazy that he wasn't stealing anything.
Right.
It doesn't seem anything was reported that he was stealing because he's in nice houses.
Yeah.
There had been some nice stuff.
That's the deal. Like, that wasn't what he was into. It wasn't about the theft. It was about, I guess, just like the
Scaring
idea of
them.
I'm able to do this. Like, power.
Yep.
Like, the power you have over these people, of their privacy, of their just that feeling of control that he must have, being able to do this. It's so fucked
Clearly,
up.
and that's where it always
And
escalates.
that's the thing, is like, at some point, that level of power or that feeling he has is not going to be enough. And it's going to, exactly.
So, which I want to point out a quote that kind of takes that into what am I trying to say?
Into account?
Yes, thank you. Oh my gosh. Takes it into account, like this escalation, and this person, Mary Jo, says, I hope he gets hurt before he hurts somebody. If he doesn't, they'll just stick him in the pen and we'll pay for keeping him. I'm like, this lady is a little angry.
Yeah, people were getting fed up.
Yeah.
I mean, they were freaked out. It talked about how neighbors were calling these detectives, asking, what do you know? What's going on? Because you have to remember too, nowadays with social media, there's all of these private neighborhood Facebook groups, and people can kind of communicate a lot easier.
And think about the Ring or any of those doorbell cameras.
Well, exactly. But I mean, just like word of mouth and information.
They just had rotary phones.
All they had, right. And so you have no idea what's going on other than what people are saying. Hey, my house was broken into. Ether Eddie hit my house. Hey, so-and-so hit so-and-so's house. You know what I mean? And that's
what they were saying, that they were basically getting their information just from their neighbors.
Exactly.
Not from...
And so I wrote there too, like, how much of that, like you said, the lore of this and the rumor mills, and just how much is true, how much is through the grapevine, how much just this idea of all of these houses are getting hit, which they were.
I guarantee I wasn't watching the news to hear about this.
Right.
So how the hell did I know about it at my slumber parties?
Exactly.
That scared the living shit out of us.
There were 2 suspects in this time, like in this year, that were arrested, but they never...
I guess they proved that they weren't involved.
Right. One way or another.
Yeah.
And they didn't really go into detail on that, but they did make a couple arrests. I think one of these articles, I can't remember which one, talked about how they did find physical evidence at some of these homes, but it was never enough. Like, they could never really pin it on anybody or find anything other than that.
So, let's move to the next article. Actually, it's not the very next article. This one just talks about, it's a editorial that somebody just walks. It's kind of what we talked about, the public safety.
And these are all from, we should probably mention,
News Leader.
They're from the Springfield News Leader.
That's our local paper. But what I want to get into next is September 1st, 1988.
Yes.
So, all of this has happened for the past year, no answers, whatever. And so there's a small article. It literally was just like a 1 block.
Yep.
And
So here, this is where it all kind of starts to...
It does, sort of.
Ish. Right.
So there's an article on September 1st, 1988. It says, Ether Bandit endangers all of us. So it's another editorial, sort of, I think. It sounds opinion-y. And so it just says, a Springfield man learned the hard way last week that neighbors in southeast Springfield aren't going to take it anymore.
Yep.
A Springfield woman told police she heard a noise about 4 a.m. Friday. When she looked outside, she discovered a man prying his way into her home with a screwdriver. After sounding a warning, she fired a shotgun blast through a plate glass window. The man is lucky to be alive in a Springfield hospital. So,
it talks about, the editorial before this talked about
something bad's going to happen.
Something bad's going to happen. Somebody's going to be walking across their yard in the middle of the night minding their own business and get shot. Someone's going to get hurt.
And literally...
Because people are freaked out. People are freaked the fuck out. And they're paranoid, and they're going to end up hurting somebody. And so that's this next article is like, listen, somebody learned, like, a man got hurt because this lady fired a shotgun.
Yep. Shot him in the stomach.
Yep.
So that's September 1st, 1988. Talks about, that.
Well, the great thing about this is it says, like, in this Ether Bandit endangers us all, it talks about this man's lucky to be alive. Until Friday, there'd been no serious injuries involved in all this, just freaked out people. And then it says in here, trouble is, this wasn't Ether Eddie. This is someone with different intentions. We don't know, but this just goes to show you that someone can be hurt. But I just found that interesting that it mentions in this, and you'll see here in a little bit, it says, this wasn't Ether Eddie. This was just some random guy.
They got shot because everyone's fed up and they're scared, so...
Or...
Was it?
Bum, bum, bum.
Okay, so flash forward a year.
Yep.
So nothing else in the papers.
Nope.
Nothing. August 22nd, 1989. Ether burglary. Blah, blah, blah. Burglary suspect arrested again. Found with stun gun, break-in tools. Gary Curtis faces arraignment today. So, after this whole year's gone on, it now is reporting that the Southeast Springfield man shot last year during the height of Ether Eddie
was caught again
with break-in tools, stun gun, screwdriver, lock picks, gloves, and a bandana.
Yep.
So, here's this guy who got shot in the stomach a year earlier
in the neighborhood where all these Ether Eddie things are happening.
And they said it wasn't him. And then he gets caught again.
Yep. And, So here's where it starts to get juicy, guys.
Curtis, 35, lived on Crestview Street, which is in the same area as all these break-ins. Arrested at 4:10 a.m. Monday outside his home.
He was dressed in black, and then carrying all those things. Had the stun gun, screwdriver, lockpicks, glove, and bandana.
So again,
they had been following him.
Yeah.
Is that correct?
Yeah. It sounded like they kind of...
Yeah, it says here...
surveilled him.
Yeah, a 6-week undercover police operation. So they had been kind of watching him And it says here, there had
They
been some
observed him.
additional burglaries in the area, so 5 officers staked out his home.
And they observed Curtis in a peeping Tom situation.
And that's when so they, like, saw him, he ran.
So they had him on 2 things. Like,
Yep.
peeping Tom is obviously an ordinance violation.
Yep. And then having
running.
all of these running, and then I think having some of these in one
the
of the
burglary
articles,
tools.
I think burglary tools, some of them you're not supposed to have legally as well. So
It is all pretty suspect.
Yep.
All right. So, basically he's arrested at that point. I love that. I don't love it. I just find it interesting. There's literally nothing in the papers about that woman shooting him.
No.
So there
Just
you
like-
have it.
There, yeah.
Just-
There, it happened.
I did have a. Did I tell this one time in one of our other episodes about my friend whose dad was a cop, and he said if anyone's breaking in your house and you shoot them, to drag them inside your house.
I don't think you said that on the podcast, but I think you've talked about it. Because
I do
then
not know that that's a real thing,
Yeah.
but that's what he told us one time.
Holy shit. Just like, I guess, don't make it look like you dragged them inside.
No, just
Be
say they were
real.
in the house. Like they
were
can't. They
in-
have to be actually in your
Right.
house on your in your property to shoot them.
Unless you have one of those stand your ground laws in your state, and then you can just like kill
Apparently.
somebody because their music's too loud and you felt scared.
Okay, well let's not do that.
I mean,
I just read a book about that.
stand your ground. It's fucked up.
No, but the music was too loud and they shot him in their car.
Yeah, in that part, like outside of a gas station.
I don't know. It was a book. It was
Oh.
fiction.
No,
But
this
maybe
was, no,
based
there
on
was
that.
like a real deal. Anyway,
Ew. Okay.
they do talk about, so after he was arrested for this Peeping Tom situation, they make a point to say he is not being charged with any of the Ether Eddie stuff. He remains a suspect in those, but he's being charged for this other situation that
Right.
we caught him in.
Right.
And then also the
Basically-
situation where he was on someone's porch trying to break in with a screwdriver and got shot. Like, those 2 things, that's his deal.
Right. Everything else is circumstantial.
Right.
So,
His mother,
mm-hmm.
who I guess he lived with, correct?
I believe that is
Or
what
she
I
lived with
remember.
him. Whatever.
Well, whatever. They live together.
They live together. She is interviewed and like lashes out and says, "No, I don't believe it. He's nice. He would never do this. He would help everybody."
Yeah.
You know.
Mm-hmm. Typical.
Mm-hmm. Yep. He has a home improvement business, which I found was super interesting.
I'm
Like,
sure that's how maybe he got access, like,
of course.
or got away with being in neighborhoods and looking around, like,
Yep.
oh, do you need any
Or
help?
just knows about
Yeah.
how to get in, you know, that kind of stuff. She did mention in this article, as she's like lashing out and angry, she says there's only one odd thing about him, and that's that he does have trouble sleeping, and that's got on for like years and years. He'll watch television for a while, and if that doesn't do it, he will go outside and go for a walk.
I bet he will.
So Mama says her precious baby boy does get up in the middle of the night and
walk.
roam around the neighborhoods. But
And
other than
probably
that,
peek in windows and
other than that,
who knows
he
what else he
is-
plays. What is it? Pocket
pocket hockey, pocket.
What's
Pinochle.
What's a
Pocket.
euphemism for you know what in your
Pocket.
pocket?
Pocket poker,
Pocket pool.
Pocket pool. There it
That's
is.
what it is.
There we go.
Okay.
Pocket Pinochle.
That's my favorite.
Is that our
Pocket Pinochle. That's the
episode
new
title?
thing. Yes, it is. Pocket Pinochle.
Oh God.
Okay.
Anyway,
Yeah.
where are we at? I don't even know what's
Okay.
happening.
So basically,
Oh, he's arrested.
He's
Curtis
arrested.
is arrested.
So he is in jail. The prosecutors have a super high bail.
Yeah, it's like $250,000
Yeah.
bond. His attorney.
Get this,
Are you
everyone.
ready for this?
Yes, who his attorney
Yeah,
is.
we'll just guess, guys. We're gonna give you a minute.
yeah.
We're gonna be quiet.
Okay.
His defense attorney is. Tell us. That's right.
That's right.
It is
D.
D.
Wampler
Wampler
with his
what?
televangelist
D.
hair.
fucking Wampler.
Yeah. So even back in the 80s, people, he was.
All about that
Mm-hmm.
publicity.
Yep.
So
Anywho, he was in jail.
Yep, and there were several articles about just the art, like, what is the judge going to lower the bond? Is he not? Should he?
Yeah.
Yes or no? Yes or no?
So they did, and he got out, and so he basically had house arrest.
Well, they
at night.
Well, yeah. So they say
9 p.m.
They
to 6
actually,
a.m.
I don't think he did get out yet, because then it
well,
talks
it said
about
they. I'd like to. I
if
guess
they
was just
lower it, yeah,
component. Okay.
yeah. So that was part of the thing too. Was like if we do lower it, then we order that he reports to probation and parole officers, and he's ordered to remain at home from 9 p.m. to 6 a.m. each night, which apparently is something you can do in Missouri.
Yeah,
which I didn't
probably
know
house
you could do.
arrest.
Yeah,
I mean that's
for
before,
specific times though.
Yeah.
Which I
why
didn't
not?
realize that was a thing.
Well, I guess
don't
they
know.
can do whatever they want.
Touche.
Yeah. Okay, so that was August 23rd.
Like a week
again,
later.
they still talk about August 30th, about his bail.
Yep.
Still going back and forth, basically. Asked for...
Oh, yeah.
Gosh,
so
as assistant prosecutor wanted $1 million bail.
yeah, they were... This
weren't
goes,
messing
like,
around.
back and forth. There was some argument, like, the defense...
Well, he didn't want anything mentioned about Ether Eddie.
Well, and he says, he basically says he is a responsible citizen. He would show up for court. He's not going to, like, run or do anything like that. He's suffered a great deal because of this. He's been shot. Like, this is not somebody that's just going to just, like, run away. Wampler says that Curtis will testify in the first case that he was not breaking into the house, that he was just cutting across the woman's yard. Wampler says the woman was having a dream about a prowler and woke up and fired a shot. So that explains how he got shot in the stomach.
Walking across the yard.
Which I'm, like, my whole thing, I actually wrote out to the side, wouldn't the physical evidence be there? They would be able to tell the distance and how he got shot and what his wounds were and where the shot. Like, that's bullshit. Wampler's better than that. Maybe he's learned. This was in the 80s.
This is a test run for him.
That was the first incident that he was being charged for. Referring to the burglary tool incident, Wampler said that this charge is unusual and is difficult to prove. So basically saying, like,
It's all circumstantial.
Yeah. Prosecution, though, talked about how the woman heard noises at the door. She fired a shot. Glass fragments were in Curtis's body and his clothing, and they matched the same glass and the sliding doors. So it was like, and the screwdriver was still in the door, like when police showed up. So it's like, really?
Okay, Wampler, that was a pathetic attempt.
So Wampler says there was no blood found in her yard, no fingerprints were on the screwdriver because he had fucking gloves on.
Yeah. I mean, blah blah blah.
Yeah,
basically.
It goes back and forth.
They fight about it.
They fight
It's
about
not that
it.
Interesting. But apparently Curtis was also convicted in 1973 of a burglary charge. So
he's got a rap sheet.
Yep.
Wampler did want to get the Ether Eddie information.
Yeah.
From the police, so he could prove that it wasn't, and they denied his request.
Yeah.
So he
Can
was
they do
never.
that?
I think so. I think so. Since he technically wasn't being charged for it, I guess you could say it's none of your damn business. I don't know.
None your damn business.
None ya.
Then,
So yeah, he was denied bail. A judge said he has to remain in jail until his trial. His trial was scheduled for October. So this has been going on. Yeah. So this is what, October of '89. So like 2 years after all of these started, pretty much.
Yeah. 87.
2+ years.
Yep.
This guy's going to trial, not for Ether Eddie.
No.
But two very related.
And what seems to have happened, according to my research, again, not super thorough, but pretty thorough.
Yeah.
No other break-ins once he's arrested.
Right, and that was my thing of like, these stopped, right?
Yep.
I mean, once
as far as I could tell, there was no more information about break-ins, ether being found or smelled or anything like that.
So he is. Sorry, we're flipping through. Once his trial starts, or I guess after the trial, they they find him guilty,
Yep.
correct?
They find him guilty, and he's sentenced to 10 years.
Does he plead guilty?
I think he does. I think he opts for a bench trial. Did I make that up?
Hold on.
Yeah, guilty plea.
Yep, to attempted first-degree burglary charge involving the shooting and a new first-degree burglary charge from the Peeping
89,
Tom
yeah.
situation. Such guilty pleas are allowed if a person feels it's likely he will be convicted. So,
he admitted his guilt on third count of possession of burglary tools, gun, professional lock, picks, and screwdriver.
He says that he took into account the publicity on his family. So he pled guilty. I guess
he was trying to save his family from a public trial, I guess. Which makes me wonder, what else would have come out?
Right.
That's all I'm saying.
So he received a 10-year sentence on the break-in where he got shot. It says he received 7 years for the... No, I'm sorry. 10 years for the Peeping Tom...
The one they caught him
with. 7 years for the attempted break-in with the shooting.
But served concurrently?
Yes.
Yeah.
And then 5 years for the burglary tools. So... I'm guessing that's all just together then? Or is that
I think
added
he
on? So did he only serve the 10 years?
I believe. But I did all the searches as far as trying to find inmate information, release dates, and I didn't have much luck with that. So
and that's
assuming he got out in
99.
Yeah.
If he
partied like it was 1999.
Yeah, he did. He sure did. But that's the thing. These stopped. He has never been charged with the Ether Eddie cases.
But I'm just going to go ahead and say
they all stopped after he got arrested and was in jail. There were no more incidences like this with the trying to knock out female victims. So come on.
Where is he? What's he doing? And how did he all of a sudden just stop this compulsion?
Right.
Or did he? Did he move to another city?
Good question.
These are all questions I do not have the answers for.
Basically, just keep locking your doors and shit. Yeah. Because you never know.
You never know.
Ether Eddie's still out there.
Well, he's 35 when all this went down, and then now what year is it now?
Math.
20. Let's just say it's 2020.
Right.
I can't do it.
Hold on. So
20 years, and then 20.
He's
it's
got to be in
40,
his 60s.
70s.
What? Yeah, all right, yeah.
Or approaching 70.
Yeah.
Let's say
65.
65 to 75.
Yeah.
Give him a 10-year range.
That was hard.
My brain hurts. I cannot wait to post all the pictures and everything for this episode because
Sarah's super excited. So that is the case.
Yeah, sorry.
That's
Let's
it.
wrap that up.
Let's wrap that up. Ether Eddie, famous. If you're from here, even if you're not from here, you maybe have heard about it. I heard about it, a couple years ago. Just kind of friends talking, here and there. But it's pretty fucked up. Yeah. Just the idea of
send us a message or a tweet or something if you remember it and what you remember.
Yes.
If you're from here.
So
one of my favorite things that I gathered
in my research,
guys,
through newspapers.com.
Yes.
Official sponsor of
Ancestry.com.
Murder Tour podcast. Hometown Murder Tour.
That's right. They are a new sponsor. But seriously, so it's legit newspapers, scanned.
Yes.
So they have all the ads in there from the 80s.
From 1989.
Yeah. And they are glorious.
So Sarah printed a bunch of this stuff. We're kind of taking turns on doing the free trial and doing what we need. So I was well, print.
Send us your information so we can use your for free trials.
Yep. We'll just newspapers.com. Let us know
Patreon
your login
us at. Just kidding. We don't have a Patreon.
We don't have a Patreon, but private messages if you want to send us a check.
Yeah. Old timey check. But so the first ad, let me set the scene. Check.
Sorry, I'm in 1989.
Yeah,
send us
sending checks. Is an ad from Dillard's.
Yes.
And it says heading into the 90s.
So Sarah printed all these is what I was getting at. You printed
Yeah, 'cause
all
you
of the
can't-
ads so I could see them, because she was just like, she's more excited
you
about
have
this.
to look at these ads.
So 1989 ad for Dillard's.
The latest in electronics, people.
Mm-hmm.
So we are talking a 13-inch color TV with remote.
Yep. Or a 19-inch color TV with graphic remote control tuning.
What?
Yep.
Do you remember that tuning shit? That was the
Oh,
worst.
on your
Yes.
VHS?
Yeah.
Tracking.
And
Or whatever it was called.
Then we've got a Magnavox 4-head VCR with on-screen programming.
Mm-hmm.
And this last one is an RCA stereo VHS VCR.
Yep.
So it's a combo deal, people.
Mm-hmm.
For $329. Now, I'm going to guess that was pretty expensive back then.
Yeah. Well, they have this RCA full-size VHS camcorder for
With
$999.
That's $1,000, and it is probably weighs what
those,
he best.
Those were the ones that you could just like pop the VHS in to the side.
Yep.
My cousins had that one, and we thought it was badass. Because we just had the little. You would have like the little thing that would fit into a.
Yeah. But no, this is legit full-size VHS tape in the camcorder.
Oh,
that's
badass.
what we called them back then, camcorders.
Camcorders.
And we did cover what a VHS was in a previous episode.
We did.
If you're too young to know what that is.
Yep.
So that's that. And also, I didn't print these, but lots of ads for Famous Bar. So folks from Springfield, if you don't know what a Famous Bar is, it's where Macy's is now.
Yep.
That was
There's
what
also
it was before.
There's like 2 pages you've printed.
I got real excited.
Restaurants.
Well, this segment was called Alive After 5. So this was what was going on after 5 o'clock in Springtown. Okay?
So some of these, like not
Still
being
around.
from here, some of these I was like, oh, hey, I know these. Ziggy's is still around. There's Hemingway's, J. Perino's.
Actually, J. Perino's is not around anymore.
Is Papoli's still around?
Yeah, that's in Reed Spring.
Yep.
I believe.
Oh yeah,
but that's there. But some of the oldies that aren't around anymore, Burr's. If you guys remember Burr's, it's in the Brentwood Shopping Center. And when my grandparents came to visit, we always went there. Loved it. Now that is where Nearly Famous is located, in case you were wondering.
On Glenstone.
Yes, Brentwood Shopping Center. We've got Ebenezer's. Guys, remember that flower pot bread? It was amazing.
I don't remember the flower pot bread.
You missed out. It was so good. It literally came out in a flower pot. They baked it in those terracotta.
Oh, like little terracotta?
Mm-hmm.
That's fun.
It was so good. That's where we would go, like, dinner before dances in high school and stuff, like, or important, like, big events.
At your Old Money High School?
Old Money High School. That's actually what we called Glendale Old Money High School.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The fighting wasps.
Yes. Totally. Wasps. Candlestick Inn. DW Dog. Po Folks. Let's see. Studebaker's. And this was Studebaker's before it became like college bar. It was Studebaker's for like 50 pluses. Where like, I'm pretty sure that's where my dad met my stepmom.
Yeah,
or maybe not met, but I know they went on a date there, which cracks me up. Smart Alex. I think that was probably the first place that served me underage. No. Top Rail. I mean, people. Jamaica's. Do you remember Jamaica's, everyone? Oh, it's the best. All right. So, just to walk down memory lane. But I would like to end with my favorite ad.
Yep.
And so this was not only just a print ad, this was on TV, on the radio, and it's an ad for the Christy Lane Show. And all I remember from that in Starlight Theater in Branson was the same song they played for the ad, which was...
Let's hear it.
One day at a time, sweet Jesus. That's all I'm asking of you.
Damn.
You're welcome.
And you're going to watch that on your... Hold on.
on your 13-inch
on your
Magnavox.
13-inch color TV with remote control, recorded on your Magnavox 4-head VCR with on-screen programming.
Yeah.
That's what you're going to watch.
So that song will now be in your head.
Yeah.
Forever and ever. Amen.
Amen.
All right. Whew.
Whew, guys.
Sorry, I felt like we talked a lot.
We did talk a lot.
Which
and I
is
don't
important
even
in
know,
the podcast.
That is true. I feel
mean,
like otherwise
it'd
it's
be
just
weird.
us sitting here. So, just silence then? Or? Okay. Yeah, I mean, I guess we covered it.
We did.
I feel like we just talked a bunch, and I don't
wasn't
really
a lot
remember
there.
what we talked about.
Yeah. We'll go back and listen to it, make sure it's usable. Or we won't.
We won't.
Probably.
Yeah.
Alright,
So here we go. If you would like to reach us, please do email us your Ether Eddie stories if you've got any. Please, please, please send us some what the actual fucks.
Oh my
people.
gosh. We are running
We are
out.
running out, and it's getting difficult. We're starting to come up with some of the same ones, and that defeats the purpose if we're like surprising each other. So send us some, man. Email us. We
Make them up.
Or if it's just something fucked up that happened to you, we'll share it. Like, it doesn't have to be from NPR News or whatever. 417hmt@gmail.com is our email.
We are on Twitter at Murder Tour.
You can listen to this podcast, which you already are. So